Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. I've got a few more folks to get here, but one thing that I will do, and to the best of my abilities this morning and throughout early this afternoon, is to run an on-time program and get you guys on your way, hopefully with some great content this morning into early this afternoon. So, my name is Bob Rosenbach. I'm Vice President at the Entrepreneurship Institute. And I'll be your taskmaster today, serving you all over the place and keeping you on time. But I'd like to welcome you to the President's Forum of Columbus. And before I get into anything else, I want to thank our sponsor, Burns, for the help of organizing this event. Without their support, this forum would not be possible, especially over the last year. It's actually been continuing challenging times. So I want to thank them for that, and I want to quickly name them. And you'll meet them throughout the day. In networking sessions, breakout sessions, and so forth. So they are Attaché, American Express, AWH, Berkshire Meyer, Rudolph Rubin and Rowe, Carlisle Patchen Murphy, Columbus Chamber, Easy IT, FC Bank, First Financial Bank, Focus STO, Group Management Services, HBK, International Monetary Systems, Maven, McGowan Braybender, Spirit of EQ, the Huntington National Bank, the Inkwell and Beach Profit Center, and Walter Haver. So again, I want to thank those firms for helping us and our organization put together this day for you. I also want to thank all of you for attending. It not only shows your interest, but also that you've understood the importance of this forum and getting something out of it and kind of getting out of the day-to-day to get above it a little bit and to maybe think more strategically. So today's about growing your companies, getting answers to your most important questions. So I'm encouraging all of you to be active participants. Ask questions during the breakout sessions, ask questions of our speakers, and use this, as the old adage is, to work on the business, not in it. So thank you again. Appreciate everybody being here, and let's get going with our kickoff address. So I'd like to introduce our kickoff speaker, somebody who's been around the Entrepreneurship Institute a couple times over the years, and we're thrilled to have her back. Probably couldn't be a more relevant time right now to hear what she has to say, so I'm excited about that. So, with over 36 years of experience in the commercial office furniture industry, Darla started her family-owned company 24 years ago in 1998 with her husband, Dave King. As president, she provides the strategic direction to the company, along with networking through community involvement in the Connecting the Dots program that supports local nonprofits in our area. Her passion is giving back to the community and passing that along to her children who work in the family business as well. Christopher, age 39, in the sales position, and Chelsea, age 31, in design and marketing. Prior to starting King Business Interiors, she worked at the local commercial furniture dealership for 10 years before they made a change to no longer have a furniture division. Darla served on many local boards throughout the years. She's a member of NAVO, the Columbus Chapter Board. She's also received the NAVO Visionary Award in 2013. She served on the Columbus Chamber of Commerce Small Business Council. Currently, she's serving on the Cliffside Community Board and the Cliffside Board of Trustees here in Columbus, and has been on the YWCA Columbus Board of Trustees for a second term. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Darla King, and happy to have her. Thank you.
Can you hear me all right? Well, welcome, and it's nice to see faces and see people, right? And it's great to be part of it. So, yeah, I was asked to speak on board play. And so, I guess we have to think back. So what happened to you? Where we're at today? I had to say,
It's the little arrow on the bottom right.
The name of our program is called Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. How many remember that presentation? Well, today we're searching for the good. So what I'd like to do is not go backwards. part of that, let's go back a little bit in history, because we have to know what we came from in order to know where we're going. And I think our biggest issue is we've all been through it, and we don't need to reiterate it, but we do need to remember what happened during that time and learn what it's going to be and what it's going to take for workers that have been home for 2 years and how they're going to continue to work with us in whatever way they need to. So with that, just a quick recap on what happened during this time. We were all quarantined, right? 3 days to get our work and our business started and put everybody at home and safe. And I remember one customer I was talking to on the phone, he was standing on the 4th floor of the building, and he said, I am watching my assets roll out the building. They're in chairs. They're just taking the chairs, computers, files, whatever. I have no idea where it's going. I don't think I'll ever figure out how to get back. And we didn't know if that was going to last for 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years, and God forbid any further up, we hope we don't have that. But at that time, too, remember, only essential work is continuing. And that was hospitals and other major places that actually were essential work and workers. So how do we stay open? Obviously, at that time, we were lucky enough to have great technology, and all of us at any age could learn Teams and Zoom, and we were forced to do it, right? We had to get into it and figure it out and learn how to communicate. But there were a lot of distracted workers. It took a long time to get adjusted to the environment. We saw pictures of folks that are sitting on the kitchen table in a hard chair, they're sitting on their couch, some are sitting in their bed, with their knees up, and quite frankly, it was a nightmare, as we remember. And a lot of us were juggling kids, home from school, and also pets. So, as we've talked over the years, all we're looking for in work is work-life balance. And I think that's the one big thing that we learned during the last 2 years. Is quite frankly, people got spoiled and they learned a new way that they actually could contribute to a company. Thank you. One more little touch on the other. Our business, people that just had disruption in their businesses, right? Layoffs, furloughs, closures. And you can imagine, we're in the commercial office furniture business, so our key contacts are the facility. And they're the ones that are running the facility. Well, if there's nobody in the facility, then there's probably no need for a person to have that position at this time. So a lot of furloughs for very good customers of ours and good contacts, direct contacts. And hospitality, obviously restaurants, and corporate, everything was shut down, and everyone had to recreate their world of paying up the food, stay within the loyalty of the restaurant. There was a worker shortage. Remember our time when people got paid more to stay home because of the incentives that they were getting? So we lost a lot of people in that time. And also childcare issues. With childcare places, facilities being closed, people that had jobs had kids come first. They had to take care of that and make sure that was doing what they needed to do, and they couldn't afford it. So the other thing we had big was retirement. We have 70 employees. Well, last year we had 6 retire. So you take almost 10% of your workload, of your employees out of your mix, you lose all the experience, you lose that knowledge, and you lose those relationships that they have. And so that was a big learning curve for us, and certainly a disruption in our business. Supply chain still is not on board, but how many went out and hoarded toilet paper? The crazy part is, we were fortunate to get one of the largest toilet paper companies that moved here from Europe, and at that time they actually grew and expanded into 3 states. So for us, it turned out to be a good thing. But there were a lot of empty shelves, and obviously we know that the PPE shortages were there. And with that, let's go on. So let's see bags, and I'm talking about bags alone. This is how we, in a quick synopsis, survived the last 2 years. We tried first finding new customers because everybody was sitting at home. So we thought, let's just sell home offices, chairs, tables. Well, it lasted about 6 months, and we thought that's not going to offset with all this that we were making, the revenue we were bringing in from selling big, large corporate offices. So we needed to regroup. And here's how we survived or thrived. Obviously, safety was the first thing. We spent like 6 months selling plastic screens, glass screens. You know how the offices in the last 5, 6 years have all come down to short panels? so that folks can see each other, talk to each other. Well, now, you know what, we added class to so many facilities, and no one knew whether it was gonna be employees coming back in a month, or in 2 months, or, you know, they just thought, we gotta get ready, because if they're gonna come back, we gotta have safety, we gotta have protection between people. And we have to separate people so that they can be, taken care of. And we disinfected our office every week. We had someone come in and actually spray for germs and take care of that. And I'm sure that several of you have had the same experience. So we actually opened up a new division called Work From Home. And that is an online store where everything got shipped to a house, to any home, in FedEx. Easy to assemble. And then we also had constant conversations with our customers and their HR departments, because they were getting the complaints. You made me work from home, I'm sitting in the lounge chair, what am I gonna do? I'm talking about, you know, different claims, and we added that site to the intranet of several large corporations. You know, if you've got 10,000 employees who are all working from home, and you start getting these complaints on lousy chairs and lousy places to sit, you have many conversations, and it was very hard for them to decide, I'm gonna buy an office set for someone and put it in their home. They couldn't really, it's okay to have the IT materials like computers and printers and all that, but quite frankly, they never had to do that. You know, what do you put in someone's personal home, and then what do you allow them to have? But at the same time, everybody ran out of furniture. IKEA first, Staples, Office Max. Everybody ran out of materials because they would get so long. So we were able to find a manufacturer that could produce in 2 weeks. Anyway, again, it's not big enough to offset volume that we had been doing when we had large companies and corporations. Changing floor plates happened constantly. We were meeting with customers and trying to decide, you know, if they come back in 2 months, we need to separate these 2 people. We need somebody at every other station. Every customer had a unique plan or decision to make. How are they going to bring their people back? At the same time, they were learning that everybody's working. Why are we forcing this? So obviously the things like social distance had to happen, 6 foot apart, half as many chairs in the conference room, store the rest of them, redesign the layout, and see what it looks like, and try to get the decision makers and then the office to really make that happen. And then adding personal dividers was, you know, crazy, but a big part of our business at that time. So, recap on this. The best thing that happened was the construction did not stop. In other states like Michigan, they shut it down the same day they had everybody quarantined and sent home. So our flooring division, commercial flooring division, actually doubled in size. And with buildings being empty and not disruption of employees, it was a whole lot easier to get in and just keep flooring taken care of. And then at that time, we also brainstormed and found new markets, because Central Ohio was shut down and we were not able to do anything any further than we could control, right? So construction all over was working for us, and believe it or not, in 2020, we did 17 car dealership remodels. Because nobody would come in, they had the time, they had the plan, the money, they were ready to go. And then of course 2022, we're a little short on chips, so we don't have any cars to sell. But everybody was surviving at their own time, trying to figure out what we could do to take care of that fill in the blank. And then we also had a government contract that we've now had for 3 years, and I'll explain how that grew. Our healthcare business expanded because it was essential and it was open, and we did need to continue to remodel and refresh their spaces. And then we got into a lot of national accounts. They already had plans to move the headquarters here. It was already in the works. They had construction in play, and they just continued on with their business. So luckily, and I don't mean this in a bragging way, but luckily we were able to focus in on those areas. We became that one-stop shop for a lot of folks. One in particular was disaster recovery contractors never stopped either, because they were still in the plans of getting things done in different areas, at Air Force bases, at different disaster areas. And so we followed the general contractor, and we actually sold furniture directly to them in their package. And then the real estate assessment, believe me, we helped one customer eliminate like 10 leases. That's still business for us. We know we help them reassess and where to put their furniture and how to eliminate the furniture. But at the same time, they have the time to think, and maybe all of you have too, do you need your office space? You know, do you? And so, as an office furniture sales person, that's almost scary. Because very hard is get rid of offices and helping customers eliminate the lease of real estate, because that's what they need to do. So, 2018, 2019, this was, Central Ohio was our market. We had Central Ohio and some surrounding areas because they were controlled out of Columbus. But what happened to us was we grew, and we grew in over almost 50 states in 2020 and 2021. And that was because we followed the money, we followed the customers, we followed the package of what they needed. And one of our largest was our program, federal program with the IDIQ, which is for all the VA hospitals and clinics across the United States. And we actually put those in 47 states. So, didn't need to meet with the customer, everything was online, everybody worked from home. It was all just a matter of communication and continuous business. Senior living was big, and it's still a very big part of our business, because look at our older workforce, and baby boomers, and retirements. And so we really, match up with a good customer that's here, and then follow them as they move and need your support elsewhere. The other shocking one was, of course, the toilet paper company. That's what manufacturing, but they did end up in 3 or 4 states. So we even got to Puerto Rico and Hawaii. So proud of it. All right, let's move on to the good. What's the future look like? What are we seeing? What are we hearing from our customers? And I'd love to hear from some of you what you've done during this time too, because we think we're all in it together, but we have a direct audience that we're listening to and talking to constantly. How many have ever heard of a business fingerprint? Oh, you do. Well, we work together. On your table, there's some large tablets, like 11 by 17 sheets. That is a business fingerprint model. Feel free to take one and pass it around. But we found from our customers, we've been listening to this for quite a while, that, they conducted surveys. They've been asking their employees, they have 5,000 employees, 10,000, listening to who they are, what they need, what do these customers want, what do these employees want for their employers to do for them. But one size no longer fits all. We're not going to go back to that 6x6 cubicle. Everybody has a desk. You work 8 to 5. That's just gone. And there's different requests based on different cultures. And we've seen that and heard that, and we still talk about that every day with customers as they say, here's how we change. Here's what we're doing now. So, set it up for success. Stop and evaluate the culture, your culture, and allow your employees to choose where they can work best. Because a lot of them during this time were teased with the fact that they had better work-life balance than ever. And if you think about it, in the 24 years we've been in business, we've only had 2 big disasters. Right? 2008, we had a big downturn, and we had a lot of layoffs. It was awful as a small company, but when you have to let people go, it's just the worst feeling in the world. This was very similar to it, except that it hadn't stopped yet. And at the same time, we thrived and tried to find ways to be stronger and follow where we could work with customers. So, as an employer, you have to provide that value. Employees value work-life balance more than a paycheck. 85% on a survey said, I'd much rather have control over my own life and what I can do and when I do it than being told to work 8 to 5 and be in an office space that is not productive. So here's an example of a business fingerprint. And this is how it works. These are all the elements of what any business is made up of. The human performance, the human performance, the facility performance, and also the organizational performance. So feel free to take this with you, and if you want to sit down and have coffee and brainstorm with us, we can do that. But at this point, from the center out, it shows the least important to the most important element. And if you take these individual surveys by individual managers in your department, in your business, and then you come together and you compare notes, I think you'll see where your common denominator is. But As I said before, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. This is actually a tool that has been produced by Hayward, our major manufacturer, and they have training and programs for it. Of course, they've been shut down for the last 2 years. But quite frankly, the point is, your business fingerprint 3 years ago would be completely different probably than it is today and going forward. So we have to all be aware of that and understand how that affects us. So generationally, we took a good survey. We have 4 or 5 years. What's the average age of your employees? Our average age is 45. And as I told you, the first column there is our baby boomers. We have 16 left. As I told you, we had several retired this year. So our average age went, boom, you know. We have 32 that are in Generation X. And we have 24 that are millennials. And we have 4, now 5, because I just hired one on Monday, that are Generation Z. So that changes the whole dynamics of what kind of space you have, or do you even need space? Because they're much more computer savvy in this age group, they're much more willing to try new things, and they're much more interested in work-life balance and making sure that, you know, they live, and oh, by the way, they work to make some money to take care of them. So, do you know your average age and what you're entering into? And that's important because they have been working from home. They have worked at the office, but they're all seeking out that third space. What's that third space? Because they can take their laptop, they can go work anywhere. They're not wired and plugged into a computer at a desk where the only place they can work. And so working from anywhere is not new, it's just different, and it has to happen. It never would have happened to all of us if we hadn't had a pandemic and shut our businesses down and had to reinvent ourselves, right? So what does Workplace 2.0 look like for the future? Well, we have to navigate the hybrid. We know that's happening right now. And we're trying to figure out what that all means. And it's not just, every company has a new way of doing it, and they're trying to sort that out. Who needs to be in, who doesn't? When should they come in, when will they? And some of them are still not back to work, believe it or not. But home-based offices aren't new, I'll tell you that. We have employees that have worked, we have one now in Cleveland, it's like she's sitting next to us. We have our marketing person in Georgia, and it's like she's right next door in the next office. And quite frankly, all of this starts with just trust and communication and allowing them to work where they need to work and flourish. So individual contributors come together with their teams. We work very strongly in teams. That's when we need to collaborate and meet and pull our groups together. But as I mentioned, in the office, one of the things we're really dealing with when people come back is noise, because they've had the opportunity to work isolated by themselves, and now they have to get used to hearing things. And quite frankly, technology adds noise. And I've watched as the short panels, the last add-on panels got put on, and they're speaking into glass and bouncing back. Headphones are on everybody, isolation, telephones are turned down. It's just a matter of now they have to reacclimate there and at home. So, you know, check your acoustics and see back there. White sound is really inexpensive, and it's a nice way to get a large room where you can really allow people to get back to that concentration space. So what we've been talking about and doing a lot of is adding small huddle rooms, 2 people, 4 people, privacy areas, and guess what? Phone booths are back. Who remembers phone booths on the end of every street? Yeah. Phone booths are back, and we've got them in all sizes, shapes, and colors, and they're selling like crazy. Every customer we talk to says there's going to be 1 or 2 phone booths, because people do need privacy and have that individual conversation, whether it's with a doctor or a teacher or just listening to someone and concentrating on what their conversation is, because you can't necessarily do it in the open office environment. So the biggest thing is obviously offering those choices, finding flexibility. That is really key to it all, and provide the same tools that they have in their home and their work office as they do in the home office, because you want them to be able to feel that that hybrid work, if you're going to allow them to do that, needs to be very open and flexible. So, these are just some ideas. I wanted to throw this out and you could kind of see what we're having conversations with our customers. They want collaboration safe, they want it safe, they want to make sure that they've got the right environment for when the employee comes in and it's got more energy and excitement to it than when they left 2 years ago. But the home office is not going to go away, and we need to make sure that we allow them to have that space. We are selling ping pong tables, gaming chairs, massage chairs, and crazy things that we never thought we'd get into. But quite frankly, they're thinking about their employees, and they're thinking about how they're going to get them and bring them back. And one of our top customers, their entire audience, their customer is dog owners, pet owners. And they've made their entire space pet safe and pet friendly. Yeah. And so, you know, that's their business, that's their culture, that's their needs, and they certainly did that and did it well. And they want more of a residential feel. They've been 2 years at home, right close to the kitchen, right close to the laundry, things like that, but they want more of a residential soft feel and outdoor views and also outdoor workspace. Because if they can work anywhere, if they have the opportunity and it's nice out, then they can go on a patio or a porch. And that's, everybody's looking at it differently for their own culture. And certainly the larger companies have had opportunities to bring in gymnasiums, or gyms, excuse me, and workout centers. So the key is, for so long we have been, work is work. This is the way it's done, this is the way, this is the model. We come to work 8 to 5, we work because that's what the boss says. And quite frankly, work-life balance that I remember hearing about 30 years ago was completely different for me when I had 2 little kids than work-life balance is for me today. And that's why I always think about the individual. What do they need? What are they seeing? And what are they caring about? And that's family care. And that might be elder care. A lot of it is elder care. And who hasn't had the opportunity or the chance to work with placing mom or dad in a special new arrangement? But having that flexible schedule to take care of, whether it's them or kids or dogs. But this is a big factor our HR folks are sharing with us, that they're hearing back and forth for retention and attraction of new employees, is to have that opportunity to just, take care of people. And I think, can't believe this, but quite frankly, bring fight over work is really a big deal. The pandemic, we had a pet boom during that time. Everybody wanted that unconditional love because they were stuck in a very isolated situation. Who didn't get a new puppy? Anyway, pet owners are reluctant to use their pets. Quite frankly, they've had the opportunity for a year or 2 years to be at home with them and take care of that, throw a little laundry in, go back to the Zoom call and continue on, and they were just as productive, if not more. And then offices are embracing that. And we have had a dog day this summer. We had dogs come in as a whole group session, which was crazy. But, the smiles on the faces of our employees because they had the opportunity to share their pets with the rest of us, it's kind of crazy, but it's true. And it's important to them. Health and wellness will never go away. Now that we've learned how to keep a safe environment and sanitize and take care of ourselves, and that's not going to go away. But beyond wellness is meditation rooms, prayer rooms, quiet spaces where they can go and separate themselves from a large crowd or large areas and just have that isolation time where they can think for themselves and be a part of what is important to them. And obviously we've seen a lot of medical and also gym services being offered in larger companies because they want them to be safe, want them to be close by and near them. And the other element, as I mentioned before, is increase that outdoor access to workspaces. And something as simple as, or hearing this from almost every customer, I'm bringing back my live plant. It's so silly, but years ago, live plants were the big thing in all the corporations, and they got rid of them because of the expense of watering them and servicing them and taking care of them. So crazy plants came back in and replaced it, or didn't replace it at all. And quite frankly, having live plants makes it feel more residential and more close to home. And I would tell you that one of the books that I had an opportunity to read, I was given as a gift, is called Out of Office. And it was just written in 2021. It's very good. It was written by Ann Peterson and Charlie Warble. I have a copy of it here at my table. But the recap of it is, your employees just want autonomy over their lives. They crave more balance. And they really want to work. But it's not their priority to get the gold watch at the end of 4 years anymore. They want meaningful and collaborative work, and they want you to trust them to get their job done, be adults, and take care of what they're doing. And with that, I say that our companies, and this is a quote from the book, are simply a collection of human beings. And I think that's the way we have to look at it today and going in the future, is how do we make them happy? Because as we all know, our employees are what makes our company tick and work. And this is our opportunity as business owners to make it right this time. This is the second time in 24 years for us we've had any kind of crisis to reevaluate how we work. But what is true work-life balance today? There's power in change, and we just have to embrace it. So, thank you very much, and I will take any questions at any other time.
Good. Thank you, Darla. Question? Has to be active,
Darla, what was the name of the book and who's the author?
It's called Out of Office, and it is Charlie Warble and Helen Peterson. Good book, and it's very relevant.
Yeah, okay.
So, how did you keep your culture in a remote environment?
You know, that daily conversation, and listening to people what they were feeling. And really, but it really was about listening and listening. Quite frankly, a lot of that word that came out is like, I think I'm going to try it. Oh, you know, the conversations were daily, and then you got reading the list, so it's just like, yeah, all the conversations all happen versus how do we change our culture? How do we change our culture or adjust our culture? But I do feel like the whole communication, and we have 70-something employees, so it was a matter of the managers talking to their folks and our folks having, I think we have weekly group meetings where everybody's together. I mean, you know, you think about the time we spend at home when wine was the wine at 2 o'clock. So, you know, a lot of people, they ended their day after that announcement every day. So we were trying to figure out how people were feeling and what they were doing, and it was just a matter of really listening to what they needed.
I'm just curious if you start these off with the productivity for remote work, or just that software?
Actually, it's been an increase in productivity. Because I'll tell you what, we've got people that live in Dayton, one that lives in Jackson, Ohio, one that lives in Logan. When you think about their commute, we've got 2 in Mansfield. And quite frankly, you know, when they can work from home and they know they've got a job to do and they're taking care of business, they got more down there than wasting 4 hours or 2 hours of the day driving back and forth, and the wear and tear in the car, and just the time and disruption in the office where people just stop by and take 20 minutes of your time to tell you a story. But we are all back in the office now, and we give the opportunity to anybody that wants to work from home, welcome to. But quite frankly, it's really nice to see smiling faces and see people talking and sharing stories now about their kids and their dogs and what happened to them, because that's what makes our business tick and makes things, you know, happen. Yeah.
I think a lot of that office noise provides good memories to the other employees that maybe I think that they work from home. Even if they're hearing a phone call from an older employee or a customer where you kind of bend your power on that.
You know, I agree, because when we were in teams, you hear a conversation happening just across the cubicle, and you just realize that I'm gonna ask the same question, I'm gonna get involved in that standard and get my information. But at the same time, when you have that culture change, where we have so many people leaving our workplaces, we get the retirees, and they were isolated, they didn't have the opportunity to mentor somebody new. The thing I feel bad for is these kids that just got out of college, and they take a job, and they're sitting in their dining room, and they gotta figure out what the culture of the company is, they gotta figure out who's gonna train them, they haven't seen anybody, they haven't had an opportunity during that time to go mingle, have a few beers with a few buddies and get to know somebody that's in their company. And then they go back and they go home and they sit and isolate themselves. And they're like 20, 22, 24, and that's Generation Z. So you look at that and you think, okay, that's got to be something that we all deal with and can adjust to. But yeah, office noise can be positive. It can be communication. And yeah, key. Yeah.
Do you have any pushback from field staff or your installation staff that have a set schedule, and how do you reconcile that with the office staff and flexibility?
Yeah, I didn't mention that. Not everybody can work from home. Yeah, they've got installers, whether it's furniture installers or flooring installers, and people that work at the warehouse for receiving. You know, we have things called siesta days, and anybody that needs that kind of mental health, take a day. We give them out for their birthday, we give them out for anniversary, just take a whole day off. And then they just got to the point where they just needed to really stay home and be home. They were allowed to, and we would just offset it. Because at the same time, we were receiving and handling warehousing, there was a lot less volume, and we tried to keep all employees in place. And so folks really just shared that time off when they could do it. But it is something to be concerned about, because if you've got a factory worker that needs to work in a constant, in this other place they can really produce, that makes it difficult. Because then what happens to jealousy between the office folks get to work at home, and I have to be in here at 6:30 in the morning. It is difficult. But a lot of conversations and a lot of opportunities to let them have their own time and space for their feelings.
You mentioned communication a couple times. Just wondering if there's anything that you did post-pandemic that you found particularly useful in integrating any of like your Gen Z or newer staff.
Daily meetings, weekly meetings, personal phone calls. Personal phone calls, I get a lot of them, even to our installers, just to say how are you doing, what's going on, and into our independents too, people that are subcontractors. But yeah, that's reaching out and saying we need you. We can't sell furniture or install flooring without the good installation companies, and we want to thank you for all your work and hard work and keeping things going and making things happen. So I think it's that personal touch from, I'm not the topic, you know what I mean, from management that really lets you know that they care and I care and what they're working on. So, thanks. Great question. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Carla. Appreciate that. Great. Well, what a good way to start the morning, and I appreciate all that time.